Hello, my name is Peter Chernis, and I am co-founder and project lead for Rebel Planet Creations. What you're seeing is our tech demo gameplay footage for our first title, due for release Christmas 2005. I do want to emphasize that this is a work in progress demo that you're seeing. What you're seeing is essentially what we've been able to accomplish, being fully self-funded and working in addition to our day jobs. The final version, of course, will have a complete overhaul on graphics, particularly with regard to the models and animation, as well as voiceovers for the dialogue. Our first title that we are working on here is a fantasy role-playing game set in the pre-flood world of biblical times. My partner and I, together, we're both pastors, and we have spent many years developing in a very elaborate, deep fantasy world set in the pre-flood world. And it is indeed a fantasy, it's fictional, but we have woven into it the essential central themes of Scripture. And indeed, in this first game that we are working on, the central theme is the identity, the meaning of the promise of the seed of Genesis chapter 3. Our main character, Enoch, due to some supernatural events that happen in his life and some abilities that he has, begins to wonder if he might be this mysterious thing called the seed to come. And so it really is his journey trying to determine his true parentage and who he is, his identity, and as well as what is this meaning of the promise of the seed. Could he be the seed? And of course, in the end, he learns that he is not the seed, though he is in the line of the seed to come being, of course, Christ, who would come and finally defeat the forces of evil who are controlling our planet and who have really rebelled against the legitimate ruler, which is God. And that is why we call our company Rebel Planet Creations. The whole series is the Rebel Planet series, because it's based on the premise, the biblical premise that Satan, though he has great influence in the world, he's not the rightful ruler. He's a rebel, and this planet is in rebellion against the rightful ruler, who is God. And so that really is the central theme of our company and of our series. And really drawing youth and young adults into the drama of salvation history, of how God has come and as C.S. Lewis said, landed in disguise through Christ, and is calling us all to take part in a great campaign of sabotage to win back this rebel planet.
Orion! Orion Deepvale! It's been a long time. What can I do for you? Where did all the soldiers come from? They claim they are here for protecting us, although I really don't know their true intentions. I heard talk about looking for a strange military officer who had certain abilities. Say, you came from the war, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
I knew you were there, just not what your position was. Anything else? Have you ever heard of the promise of the seed? Promise of the seed, huh? Isn't that one of those ancient phrases from one of the old songs? I'm afraid I neglected my study of all the old songs. You might try asking Soret. He's pretty well versed in such things. Okay, I'll go talk to him. Goodbye. Farewell, Orion. Ael be with you.
The game does have some violence, though violence is not the central aspect of the game. The central aspect really is the story. But we do want to emphasize that what combat we do have for the main character is throughout almost the entirety of the game in self-defense. Certain forces of the Evil One are seeking him out. Satan himself suspects that this character, Enoch, may be the seed. That's another theme that we have, that Satan's knowledge is limited. He doesn't understand everything, and he didn't back then. And so they're after Enoch, and so there will be some battles in which Enoch has to defend himself. The final level will have Enoch been on the offensive, but it's in a situation where he is essentially on a rescue mission, where he's seeking out Adam, who has locked himself away in despair in his dungeons, and he's just waiting to die, and he's being held captive by a Satan-possessed villain who is polluting his mind and seeking to draw Adam into further despair and really into allegiance to the enemy. And so Enoch is going to come and fight his way into Adam's dungeons, and kind of another emphasis that will come out then, or a theme, that rather than there being some final great battle between Enoch and the arch-nemesis, what really will happen, rather than a battle of swords, will be a battle of the Word, as Enoch really will communicate then the truth of the gospel. Enoch finally discovering who the seed to come really is. Enoch will communicate to the first Adam about the second Adam. And that really will provide us with an opportunity to share the gospel at the end of the game, as well as planting, quote-unquote, seeds of the gospel throughout the game.
Orion, why I haven't seen you since you headed off to serve Tehran. I still can't believe it. Someone from our humble town acting as lieutenant to the First Father. Tell me, Orion, what is the First Adam really like? He's a broken man, Soret. You heard what happened to Ea? Yes, indeed we all have. Slain by Thane Creon in the final battle of the Great War. You must have been there, Orion. Did you see it happen? Yes, Soret. It was terrible. Soret, I need your help. Okay, young master. Anything. What do you need? Can you tell me anything about the promise of the seed? The promise of the seed. Now that's a question you should have asked your master, Tehran. I don't know all it means, but it has something to do with the wretched curse upon our fallen race. It's always noted in the old songs, right alongside the curse placed on Tehran and Ea at the time of the fall. You know the story as well as I do, I suspect. Well, as you know, when the dragon deceived Tehran and Ea in the Valley of the Life Spring, Ael placed a curse upon our first father and mother, and thus upon us Benedim, their descendants after the fall. The Benel were born before the fall, and so are not under the curse. That's why the Benel remain immortal, and we Benedim are doomed to die. But apparently, so the songs go, with the curse also came something else, a promise.